South African man refuses to sell his Spaza shop to Pakistani foreigners, has gone missing. Look, man, this is not the first time I've heard of things that happen like this. I've heard that in rural areas, like if you go to Soweto or areas where they have Spaza shops, that if a black person or a South African was to try to purchase, they could get killed. Like things happen to people in South Africa for trying to purchase Spaza shops or owning Spaza shops. It is a thing. So let's go ahead and check this out together, man. If y'all new here, smash that sub button, like the video. Let's check it out.
Mpumelelo Kubeka is missing. And nearly a month later, his family still has no answers. A local businessman who allegedly refused to sell his Spaza shop to Pakistani foreign nationals who run Spaza shops in South Africa has vanished under troubling circumstances. Now, Herman Mashaba steps in, demanding urgent action and accountability from authorities.
Lerato and I, our member of parliament, the one responsible for pushing a project called Spaza for Locals. We are right now in forced arrest. We were called by the family to help them trace their missing
That's
son.
wild, bro. That's wild.
Mpumelelo Kubeka disappeared on the 1st of this month. It's almost a month now that he has disappeared. But we've just been getting information from the family, giving us circumstances that led to his disappearance. And we believe from the family's point of view, South African called a person called Zulu. So we are asking you, the community, can you please, fellow South Africans, help us to find Mazwi. Please help us find this person called Zulu, who was actually quite responsible for pushing Mazwi to give this business. So we cannot really sit back and allow this to really happen in our country.
Definitely not, bro. It's crazy. It's really crazy that just by owning a Spaza shop as a local, bro, as a local, you can go missing, you can get killed, bro, for owning something in your own country, bro. Insane, dog.
Mazwi Mpumelelo Kubeka, according to his family, was allegedly kidnapped after refusing to sell his Spaza shop. That's the claim. That's the trigger point. And nearly a month later, there is still no clear resolution. No confirmed breakthrough, only growing concern.
It's been a month.
His family says they have been left in the dark. They believe he was targeted after choosing to stand his ground as a small business owner. They say pressure was applied, pressure to sell his shop to foreign nationals, specifically Pakistani traders operating within the Spaza shop sector. And when he refused, he disappeared. Now, let's be very clear. These are allegations. There is no confirmed public evidence linking those claims directly to what happened to Mazwi. But this is where the story becomes more serious than it first appears. Because in South Africa, the Spaza shop economy is not just about business. It's about survival. It's about who controls the most accessible layer of daily commerce in townships and communities. It's about competition, pricing, supply chains, and often quiet tensions that don't always make headlines until something escalates. And when something like this happens, it forces a national pause. It forces uncomfortable questions. What really happens behind the scenes in this informal economy? Who protects small business owners? And what happens when those owners say no? According to the family, an unknown individual allegedly approached Mazwi and pressured him to sell his shop. He refused. They further claim that a security company may be protecting certain shop owners while forcing locals out. Again, these are serious allegations, and they must be treated.
Let me make sure I heard that right, bro. Let me make sure I heard. Did I hear that right? Did it say security? A security company
may be protecting certain shop owners while forcing locals out.
That's insane. And these same security companies are the same security companies that are here in South. Like some of them are probably South Africa who work within these security companies, right? Am I right? Now that's wild, bro.
Again, these are serious allegations, and they must be treated as such. They are not proven facts, but they are claims that demand investigation. Because when claims like this surface, they reflect deeper tensions that cannot be ignored. Now, this is where the story...
And the thing is, this is something that has happened. This is not like the only story, bro. That's the crazy thing, because this is something that I've heard before, like a long time ago, bro. Like, this is not something new. This is something that's been going on, bro. This is something that's been going on.
Escalates. Herman Mashaba, leader of Action SA, visited Maswi's Spaza shop himself, not from a distance, not through a statement, but physically on the ground, and his message was clear. He appealed directly to Cyril Ramaphosa and the Minister of Police to urgently prioritize the disappearance of Maswi and Mpumelelo Kubeka. He said, and this is important, no South African can simply disappear without a swift, thorough, and accountable investigation. That line carries weight, because it shifts this case from a private tragedy to a public test. A test of the system. A test of whether institutions respond with urgency when it matters most. And this is where we need to slow down and understand what this really means. Because when a family says there has been little visible progress, that statement alone begins to affect public trust. Whether or not the investigation is active behind the scenes, what the public sees or doesn't see matters. Silence creates doubt, and doubt spreads quickly. This is where the deeper issue begins. Trust in policing, trust in governance. Trust that when something goes wrong, the system responds, not selectively, not slowly, but effectively. Now place this within the South African reality. Law enforcement agencies are under pressure. High caseloads, limited resources, complex investigations. These are real challenges. But here's the truth. None of that removes the expectation of urgency in a case like this. Because a missing person case, especially one surrounded by alleged pressure and possible criminal elements, demands visible action. And when that visibility is lacking, questions grow louder. Where is Maswi? What has been done so far? Why has there not been a clear update?
Bro.
These are not just emotional questions. They are accountability questions. And accountability is the backbone of public confidence. This is where the story becomes bigger than one man. Because Maswi now represents something deeper. He represents the vulnerability of small business owners operating in informal spaces. Individuals who often lack structured protection, who operate in high-pressure environments, and who are exposed when conflict arises. He represents families who depend on answers, not eventually, but urgently. And he represents a growing concern in communities that economic competition may sometimes cross into something more serious. Now again, we must stay disciplined with the facts. No conclusions can be drawn yet about what exactly happened to Maswi. The investigation is ongoing. Authorities have not publicly confirmed the circumstances. But what can be analyzed is the reaction, the concern, the pressure now being placed on authorities to act. Because once a case reaches this level of public attention, the stakes change. It is no longer just about solving a case. It is about restoring confidence. Because if people begin to believe that someone can disappear, and the system moves slowly or silently, then the consequences go far beyond one incident. Fear begins to grow, and fear changes behavior. This is where the national implication becomes clear. Ordinary South Africans, especially those in small business, are watching this closely. They are asking themselves, if something like this happens to me, what happens next? Will there be urgency? Will there be protection? Will there be answers? And these questions matter because they shape how people interact.
And the thing is, I'm sure, bro, this is not the only case. This is just one that gotten traction, you know what I'm saying, that's hitting the media and stuff like that. Definitely with everything going on with the march and immigration things that's been going on with South Africa. Bro, like, this is not the only one. This is not the only one. Like I said, I've been hearing about this before, you know what I'm saying, before the whole immigration. Like, a lot of people have been telling me about the Spaza shops and why they're owned by Pakistanians and why it's hard for locals to own these Spaza shops. And there was a time where locals actually owned all the Spaza shops. People have told me many things about these Spaza shops and how they came to being owned by Pakistanians instead of locals.
Now let's go even deeper. This case touches on a sensitive and often debated issue in South Africa, the intersection between local business ownership and foreign participation in the informal economy. This is not a new conversation. It has existed for years, and it is often complex, emotional, and politically charged. But here's the key point. Cases like this should never be used to generalize or inflame tensions. They should be used to strengthen systems, to ensure fairness, to ensure protection for all.
Exactly, and that's what I was arguing in my other video when we was talking about the xenophobic march and all that and all those things. Like, I feel like these situations need to bring awareness to the problem. which is the illegal immigrants being able to come in undocumented and things like that. Like once they crack down on that, then other things, other motions will be able to, you know what I'm saying, connect properly. You feel me? Other things will be able to move correct.
Ultimately, the responsibility lies with institutions, not communities, to enforce the law and maintain order. And that brings us back to the present moment. Mazwi is still missing. His family is still waiting. A political leader has made a public appeal, and the nation is watching. So what happens next? This is where everything now depends on action, not statements. Not assumptions, action. A thorough investigation, clear communication, and a visible commitment to resolving the case. Because in situations like this, resolution is not just about justice, it is about reassurance. Reassurance that the system works, that no one is forgotten, that every case matters. And here is the reality. If this case is handled with urgency, transparency, and results, it can strengthen trust. But if it drags on without answers, without clarity, it risks doing the opposite. And that is the turning point. Because South Africa is not just dealing with one case. It is dealing with a broader question of confidence in its institutions. Mazwi Mpumelelo Kubeka is missing. But what this moment truly reveals is this. A country is watching to see whether its systems respond when it matters most. And whatever happens next will not just define this case. It will define how many people believe the system still works.
And they not believing in it, bro. They not believing in it at all. They not believing in it. I mean, and they shouldn't, bro, because like it shouldn't take marches and all these things to crack down on people just coming legally into the country, bro. It shouldn't take all that, bro. It should be something that's already in place. That's what people want. That's what people want. They want safety, security, and they want fairness. But let me know what y'all thoughts are. I hope you guys enjoy my reaction, my commentary. Link to this vid will be in the description, guys. Link to this vid will be in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Stay tuned. Next to y'all.